where offenses are still prevailing. The pure chanting is called by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the third verse of Sri Shikshashtakam. According to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, this verse is solely intended to teach us how to chant without offenses by enumerating the qualities which have to be developed in order to be able to glorify the holy name incessantly. After describing these qualities, it will be shown how by cultivating them we can avoid the 10 offenses to the holy name. Chanting Namabhasa is endowed with a particular quality. Once the devotee has understood how to properly chant on the stage, his strong desire to chant purely will soon awake. Therefore, in Harinama Chintamani, Haridas Thakur requests Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to explain the chanting of Namabhasa. Firstly, Lord Chaitanya points out that the holy name is identical with Krishna and is equally powerful. It is because of this material covering and not because of the holy name that a living entity cannot perceive the greatness and the beauty of the holy name. Krishna, the Lord, is the omnipotent spiritual Son, and the holy name, identical with him, disperses the darkness of Maya with equally powerful brilliance. In order to bestow mercy upon the conditioned souls, the sun of the holy name has arisen on the horizon of the material world. However, sometimes their vision is covered by the clouds of anarthas and the fog of ignorance, and they are unable to see the sun-like holy name. Although too big and too powerful to be covered by any kind of cloud or fog, the sun is still hidden from the living entity because of his obstructed vision. Thus, ignorance and anarthas are the cause of lack of taste in chanting. Ignorance, chanting. Ignorance refers to there are four things has been given here. One, the transcendental nature of the holy name. Two, the Krishna's position. Three, one's own spiritual nature. And four, the qualities of material nature. Anathas are divided into three. Number one, the desire to attain things which are unreal and temporary. We already saw these things in the past. Asat Trishna. Number two, weakness of the heart, Hridaya Durbalya, like the inability to keep one's spiritual vows. And three, the propensity to commit offenses, aparadha. As long as one is chanting on the stage, as long as one is chanting on this stage, Namabhasa, he may be purified and can even attain liberation. But prema, love of God, remains unattainable. Therefore, ignorance and anarthas have to be overcome. In the beginning, the newcomer has to develop faith on the path of bhakti by observing the faith of other devotees. In this way, he becomes and Shraddha Abhasa, a shadow or touch of faith, awakens in his heart. Then, after having taken shelter of bona fide spiritual master and executing devotional service under his guidance, he becomes fixed in Sambandha Jnana. Step by step, the cloud of ignorance is dispersed and he chants the holy name with firm faith. Last paragraph. Simultaneously, he has to work on his anarthas and consciously avoid offenses. And this is possible by realizing the essence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction in the third verse of Shikshashtakam. In fact, it is even recommended that one should always carry this verse like a necklace around one's neck. So that verse, the third verse of Shikshashtakam, is what going to be discussed in tomorrow, the famous verse, Pranadapi Sunechena, Taroreva Saheshuna, Amanina Manadina, Kirtanayat Sadahari. One who thinks himself lower than the grass, who is more tolerant than a tree, and who does not expect personal honor, but is always prepared to give all respect to others, can easily always chant the holy name of the Lord. We'll learn about this tomorrow. It's a beautiful verse, and this chapter talks about this verse. The next subsection of this chapter talks about this verse. Thank you. Let's see if there's any discussions or questions.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavad relation.
Prabhuji, anarthas are not easy to overcome. How can we like practice so that we can overcome the anarthas?
That's what has been told, right? Another peaceful nation, a thorough is a salvation.
Yeah, but like humility also does not come easily. Like we have to like
So
first of all.
this question was asked by someone to His Holiness Radhana Swami one time. So he said, if you don't have that, act as if you have it to start with, and then it will come naturally later. We don't even want to take an attempt to be humble, then there's a problem. That's one answer Maharaj gave. Um, but even to be humble, that's very tough, especially we can be humble in front of the, one second, a lot of things at home is a little different at this time. I need to wire and all. Anyway, so um, I was trying to say, yeah. So it is humble, easy to be humble in front of the deities, but it's very hard to be humble in front of devotees. That's a challenge because deity doesn't come in front of us. Devotees come in front of us. Therefore, we see them as one among us. When we start seeing one among us, then we start calculating, making um, assumptions about devotees. Um, you know, for example, if we don't if we are full house today, but if we don't see one devotee here, then we start thinking about assumptions. Maybe this devotee is like this, it doesn't come regularly, and etc. So we make assumptions. So the point here is it is said that we should never let our mind to start making that sort of things. When mind goes into different direction, we just shut the mind out and just not even worry about that. Focus on something else because mind always try to find faults in others. That's one thing. And second thing, practical application is only try to. Second point in line with that one is that where you start appreciating little bit of even that person is really not good and something would have been done good by that person. So think about only that aspect and leave it. So we have to always think about others with respectful mode, number one. And number two, and then the last one is we think about ourselves first, how we are before we think about others. So when we think about ourselves, we'll know how great of devotees we are compared to others. Then that will make us naturally humble, especially when think about other devotees who are doing a lot, then we'll become humble when we think about it. So some practical things that you can apply on a day to day, like when we're dealing with people, especially with devotees.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. In that context, is it also possible that if we are being so humble, we sometimes lose our confidence and uh, we think that we are nothing? Sometimes I feel that how to create a balance between that, that when we say we are nothing, so sometimes I lose my confidence and I give everything by respect to others. So how to have that balance of humility and the self confidence?
What Bhakti Maharaj says. Humility, humility does not mean that you think yourself lower. Humility means that you think yourself um, others to be greater. That does not mean that we think ourselves. I'm paraphrasing his statement. We don't think ourselves lower, always thinking bad about us, always thinking we good for nothing, we are useless. We sometimes, when as a speaker, we say those things, but in practically does not mean that we have to think so bad about ourselves. And there are two reasons why we should not think so. Because this body is temple. This body is a temple where Krishna is residing inside. Number one. And this body is given as a fantastic vehicle by Krishna to cross over this ocean to attain Krishna. That's number two. That means we serve. So therefore, whatever Krishna has given us is cannot be useless, cannot be waste and things like that. So if as a Krishna's devotee, we think that yes, Krishna has given the best to me, best thing to me, based on whatever I am qualified for, eligible for. Right? So Krishna, if we think we are bad, then we are questioning back, saying Krishna has done something bad to me. So we don't want to do things. So it's not to say that we think low in that sense. We have to think that others are greater. Hmm? Others are great. In that way, it will keep us humble. That's number one. Number two is um, thinking ourselves low in the world and moving around does not again mean let others to stamp on us, jump on us, stamp on us, and walk on us. That's not also what the message is. At times we got to take actions. At times we have to be brave to speak things out. None of those things is to tell that we are not humble. People may not understand outside. They are beginners. Beginners may think that humility means beginners in Krishna consciousness means he they measure humility based on you talk always is low volume, walk slowly, look slowly, eat slowly, and then always let others. It's not that's not other. That's how the beginners sees things. But then also know the theory, who knows the practical thing about Krishna consciousness. Even if a person is um, in 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 um, in a commanding position, instructing position, that person can also be humble. But obviously, their role and position may be in such a way that they have to do so. Police, among police, there could be a humble person, right? Among leaders, there could be a humble person. Not necessary humility means you have to just be in a different mood altogether, like a different creature altogether. It's not so. So, what the point I'm trying to say is that you should not be, at the same time, you should not be letting yourself let others stamp on you, walk on you, jump on you. At times you have to do something, you have to do, but in a humble state of mind, without any envy, without any jealousy, without any anger. Whoever is doing something to us, we don't get angry on them, but anger should be shown in such a way. Sometimes it helps others, but otherwise, you don't need to think that we are low, means we cannot be in certain instructive position or you have to correct someone. None of those things. So it depends on the role and position that we have in our service, in our society, in our employment also. Sometimes we have to do certain, but does not mean we are not humble. Internally, we always think ourselves servant of Krishna. That helps.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. That's definitely it really helped.
I
Yes. Thank
usually
you.
tell that many of audience here, they all know this story. I've told 100 times maybe, but I'll tell you. I don't know if you heard the story from me. There was a sage saint was walking through the village, and as he was passing through village, um, he saw a bunch of village boys were laughing and playing and doing something on the corner of the farm, the field, and they're throwing stones. And no. There's boys and others people said, I'm into the second half of it. The first part of it is that the farmers were saying not to go to that side. There is a very venomous snake. There's a big snake, and we don't use that field at all because that snake, anyone goes, it bites and people die immediately, very poisonous. And the sage said, okay, but then he went through and that part, and he saw the snake. The snake was hissing. Shh, it was coming to bite the sage. And the sage started talking to the snake. and gave some good advice. And the snake accepted the advice and said, "You need to think about the Lord. In your mind, you chant the Lord's name. Then your anger will go away and you don't need to be like this." And the snake said, "Okay, I'll try that because by nature, I am envious. By nature, I'll bite people. But you're telling I'll follow your instruction." And the sage went off. On the way, returned back after a few weeks or few months. That's when the sage saw that the same spot where he met the snake, there were a bunch of boys, village boys, were playing and throwing stones and doing something. And then the sage went there and he saw that the snake was right there. And his boys were trying to, play with the snake by frightening the snake by throwing stones and throwing some sticks and etc. And the sage, chased them all off and then went to the snake and took care of the snake and said, "Who are you?" And the snake said, "Remember, I am your disciple. You told me to chant the holy name. I did. And this is what happened. I become so humble that this is what has happened. But it's okay, Krishna's mercy and dear my Guru's mercy. If I have to get hit, I will get hit." And the sage started laughing. "Look, you didn't understand. You didn't understand. I told you not to bite. I told you not to show anger to the boys, but I'm not. But I never told you to um, show, um, uh, at least frighten this boy to go away, so you can continue your services nicely. Right? All you should have done is just raise yourself, say shh, shh, and the boys will run away. You don't need to go and bite them. You don't need to do anything else because they know what you are. Because if you're not done anything, they think you're useless, you're waste. Therefore, they started doing this. When time comes, you just have to show something so people doesn't bother you. They don't do anything, so you can continue your service nicely. And the snake understood what's the message to be humility. You're humble. Sorry, not to be humble. So at times we have to practically apply these things. But the point is, we just apply these things when it's needed so that our sadhanas, our practices in Krishna consciousness doesn't get jeopardized. Also, for others to understand their line, the boundary line, what they can do, what they cannot do. Otherwise, in the name of being humble, we just spoil our own sadhana, our own practices. Hope that story helps.
Definitely, Prabhuji. It has given me a very new perspective with the story and with your understanding. Thank you for sharing it. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. I got to really stop. I know it's 4 minutes up. I got to take care of few things. I'm leaving to India this Friday, so there's also some house things are going on, remodeling and things. So I'm little off in and out. So many things are because of this. Many things happen. Kindly excuse me for a few days, and I haven't planned about how we'll continue after during my travel and after that. We'll think about it and we'll see, and they all let you know how things goes. But I know that you're all regularly joining, irrespective if I'm there or not. Thank you so much. Really appreciate. Uh, Please continue this one, and I'll also try to join as much as possible while I'm away. Also, I can't promise. Let's see how things go there. Thank you all very much. We'll see you all tomorrow again at 5 a.m. Central Time. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Have a wonderful day. And I heard it's a snow, little snow, or weather is not good. Please be safe. Whether you're driving or you're walking out, please safe. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.